Hi everyone and welcome to our debt-free lifestyle. If you're new here, my name's Mel and we are a Christian family of 4, soon to be 5, living in Melbourne on a single income. On this channel we talk about how our family makes life work. Everything from frugal living, parenting, household organisation and anything in between. And today I wanted to talk to you about meal prep. Not just the practical side of it, but why it's become so important for our family. Before I go into the practical steps, I just want to share why we live this way, because this was a choice. Yes, I could go back to work, and I want to say this clearly. There's no judgment toward working mums, because I was one. I know how much strength, sacrifice, and intention that takes. For our family in this season, we choose a single income lifestyle because that's what our kids needed. They needed more consistency, more presence, less rushing, and more emotional availability. This isn't going to be forever, and that's okay, but right now, raising our kids matters more to us than outsourcing that role, and this choice does bring trade-offs. It means we have to be intentional with money, it means we have to plan carefully, and it means harmony in our household has become more important than keeping up appearances. With the cost of living crisis, groceries can be expensive, especially when kids are unpredictable. Managing household affairs can really drain my cares, and the constant feeling of being behind or missing out, that can also take a toll. For a long time, I thought meal planning was just about saving money and just trying to get a meal as cheap as possible. But coming into the new year, I've realized it's actually about peace. It takes off the mental load of having to come up with something on the fly or creating order in one area of our home so it doesn't spill over to everything else. And I am guilty of spilling over. There's a verse in 1 Corinthians that says, "Everything should be done in a fitting and orderly way." That verse has really stuck with me. And for us, this lifestyle and the routines that support it are what create order and peace in our home. It's being intentional, like I said earlier. And let me tell you, in my household, when there's no plan, we feel it straight away. The uncertainty, the stress levels increase, and suddenly we're buying takeaways, impulse spending, or hearing a lot of, "What are we having? I'm hungry." Meal planning creates some kind of rhythm, even if it's just a loose one. And if it's the only rhythm we have on that day or that week, the whole house automatically feels calmer. We don't have to live in chaos, and we don't want to. I don't think that God also calls us to chaos. He's a God of order. Now, each family is different in how they operate, but this is the way that we invite God into our practical everyday stuff, not just the big spiritual moments. Now that we've talked about why we do it, let's talk about how. I'm going to walk you through what we actually do because it's very simple and very real. When I first started, I used to think I was just writing down what I wanted to eat for the week and buying every single ingredient in the recipe. That did not bode well. We ended up spending way more money and wasted so much food. We knew we just had to do things differently. So first things first, before we do anything, we pray. We pray over our finances and pray that we make good decisions, be good stewards, and also pray over the food. But we also plan. The two things are not opposites, they work together. And I've seen the supernatural in provision so many times that I can't miss this important step. But on to the actions. Now, the first thing we do is check our inventory, which is our pantry, our fridge, and freezer, everything. I don't just look at what we have, I also check the dates. This step's really important because it keeps us from wasting food we already own, and it's easy to forget what's sitting at the back of the freezer or the bottom of the fridge. For me, this even applies to food like leftovers. When I know what we have and what needs to be used soon, it does set the direction for the entire week. The next step might seem unnecessary, so if it's not for you, just skip it. But for us, again, it saves time later on and again saves us money. So that step is cleaning the spaces if they need it, especially the fridge and freezer. It's not a deep clean every time, just enough to see clearly. When the spaces are clean and visible, food doesn't get forgotten, and we don't rebuy things we already have. It also gives me mental clarity. Order in physical spaces really does reduce my mental load. The next step is I actually meal plan around what's there. So not what looks good online or fancy meals, just what makes sense for our family and what will get eaten. This is where planning really becomes stewardship. And from time to time, I'll push myself with a no spend challenge or freezer challenge. And the reward is keeping the money in our wallet rather than on groceries. Let me tell you, planning this way helps us stretch our budget and removes the pressure to constantly buy more. If you follow my Insta, you will know that sometimes the meals we have are not aesthetic, but just for sustenance. Now, I want to also talk honestly about something that isn't shared enough. And that's because I think there's a stigma around it, but not all of our food comes from a supermarket. There have been seasons where we have sourced food through charitable organizations, community programs, and even support services. And I want to say this very clearly. There is no shame in receiving help. Let me say that again. There is no shame in receiving help. We are fully aware that we chose a single income lifestyle, and for us, it was more important for me to be home with our children than it was for my pride to get in the way of asking for help. Don't get me wrong, we don't bludge, we aren't greedy, and we never take more than we need. But we also stretch our dollar as far as it will go, we plan carefully, and we budget intentionally. So we are stewarding what we have, but we also accept help when it's available, because provision doesn't stop being provision just because it comes through people. Now, after this, once the food is sourced, the next step is to go back to my list and physically cross off anything I no longer need to buy. This step is small but powerful, and it stops impulse purchases, it protects the budget, and it keeps me focused on needs, not wants. Being intentional here helps us stay within our limits without feeling deprived. I also like to look at catalogs and the Frugal app before shopping. I use the Frugal app to check and compare prices. It's really good actually. When you go into the item, it will show you the cheapest price in the nearest shopping centres in your area. So you will be able to work out whether or not it's cheaper to buy it from there or not. It also helps me where to decide to shop. This is one of the areas where faith and wisdom work together. James 1:5 says that God gives wisdom generously, and sometimes wisdom looks like comparing prices before spending money that my husband has worked so hard for. The last thing we do is shop around. So there are some shops that are not available on Frugal, but you will be able to see Coles and Woolies. So things like the butcher for meat, the greengrocer for fresh produce, the Asian grocer for pantry staples. So those are some other avenues where we can go shopping and buy the outstanding items on our list. For our family, we mostly buy from the greengrocer, Aldi's, and sometimes from the butcher. But that all keeps everything within a $100 budget, which is hard if you include nappies and formula. It does help us stretch our dollar without feeling like we're missing out or chasing perfection, just balance. This routine hasn't removed every hard work, let me tell you, but it does give us structure, and structure gives us breathing room, and breathing room creates peace. Meal planning for us isn't about control, it's about stewardship. It's about being faithful in what we have and trusting God with what we don't, and also creating order where we can. If you're in a similar season, stretching food, money, or energy, I hope this reminds you that provision can look simple and perfect and still deeply faithful. So this is just one of the many things that we do to help keep our family frugal. Unfortunately, I didn't get to capture or record all the footage of the meals because I'm posting this on Friday at midday. But here are some of the meals that we've had so far this week. Firstly, we had Mexican mince with tortilla chips, some cucumber and salsa. Secondly, we had chicken breast schnitzel with broccoli and roasted potatoes. On Wednesday, we had chicken Maryland with Caesar salad. On Thursday, JR returned to work, so I made him a teriyaki pork with rice, and the kids and I had sausage rolls, crackers and grapes. I'm really looking forward to sharing the good, the bad and ugly with you all. In fact, I'm planning to do a series on dinners, lunchboxes, etc. So watch this space. Thanks for tuning in, but what would you like me to talk to you about? Comment below, and also please like and share, I'd really appreciate it. Until next time, hey cornet, and see you then.